If you want to work on recovery from OCD, then saying that OCD is ego-dystonic might not actually be that helpful. Let me explain what I mean by that. But if you're in a state where you're looking for reassurance, like you only found this video because you were looking for somebody to say, OCD is ego-dystonic, the thoughts are ego-dystonic, they are not you, you really want that reassurance, do not watch this video. There's going to be some really high-end luxury artisanal reassurance coming up next. Get the reassurance, feel really good, head on your way. However, if you want to work on getting over OCD and leaving it behind, then hang around after the kittens. The thing is, I realize now I have no clue how to give you reassurance. So I thought maybe some wheat blowing in the wind, but then, I don't know, maybe it's probably not reassuring if you're gluten intolerant. Yeah, I mean, OCD is ego-dystonic. Hey, dystonic yours? Get it? Because it's a gin and tonic. Oh, that was probably gross for some people. Just feel the reassurance. Oh, OCD is ego-dystonic. There you go. This seemed reassuring at the time, but maybe you'll worry about kind of losing your mind and doing stuff like that. The kittens, look at those cute toe beans. Oh no, did it just have a thought about eating the other's feet? Is it a cannibal kitten? Well, I mean, I guess I hope you were reassured. All right, now let's get into it. So the whole idea with ego-dystonic is that the obsessions and the compulsions with OCD trouble us because they conflict with our values, our desires, our goals, and our self-construct, our ego, how we see ourselves. Because they are wrong and conflicting and bad, we get really upset about them and we want to fix them. If you want to break down the machinery that fuels OCD, that may not be so helpful. That last part there, it really helped me to understand that, yeah, even though I of course did not like the thoughts, the images, the voices, etc., that my brain was throwing up, the physical sensations, the emotions, 100%, I did not like them. However, my brain was trying to help me very logically pursue goals that I'd laid out for it. But now don't panic just yet. Let me share an example and then we'll talk about it. But let's say that I really dislike my kitchen being dirty. And before I go out and do something, I want to make sure I clean my kitchen. I feel really good about that. I feel like, okay, now the kitchen is clean, I can go and do things that I want to do in life. And my brain, being the helpful brain that it is, gets really good at spotting things that aren't quite, clean enough. There's a spot, and there's a spot. It catches them immediately. And I like that. Actually, I really like seeing myself as the person who notices the problems that other people miss. The thing is, I may start to associate a clean kitchen with my identity. Maybe before some people come over, I really want to make sure the kitchen is clean, and I really want other people to comment on that. I want them to notice that. I want them to recognize that I'm a person who has a clean kitchen. So my brain is going to think of things that could mess up the kitchen. Maybe I'm going to tell other people to make sure they don't make a mess. And actually, I associate other people's identities with whether they keep my kitchen clean. Now, the thing is, because I've taught my brain that it should look out for anything that could make the kitchen dirty, and also that if it is dirty, people are going to think that I'm dirty. The brain's going to start to look for other things that could contaminate things in my life. It's going to look for other things that could contaminate other people's opinions of me. And at first, I may like that. Again, I'm going to associate that with being the person who can spot the problems. That's who I am. And when the brain starts to pick up on other things in life that could be messy, at first I'll probably encourage it. I'll engage with it. I'll definitely get in there and sweep those things and clean them up. But because I've taught the brain that cleaning these bad contaminated things is good, and that our identity depends on it, it's going to start to find bigger and more complex contaminations, bigger and more complex messes. And at first I'll probably get in there and I'll scrub them and I'll clean them. but then the brain's going to come up with messes that are even more complex to clean. One, because it's saying like, well, if you really like cleaning up these things, you're going to love it when you solve these problems. But also it's just trying to do a good job. I want to have certainty that things are clean so that I can go and live my life, so that I can be myself. So the brain is just going to look for anything that could contaminate my life, but it won't know how to stop. It won't know that I'm confined by the reality of physics and existence. So it'll find all sorts of things to clean that maybe don't even exist. It'll want to clean things from the past. It'll want to clean things from the future. It'll want to think of all the different ways in the future that we could run into messes. And it's going to want to prevent them all because all of them are a threat to how I see myself. Soon, maybe I won't leave my apartment because I'll want to stay and just make sure it's totally clean. It's actually me holding on to an identity that's not helpful. Me holding on to a goal that's not helpful. That's the problem. The brain's totally aligned with my values, my desires, and my self-construct. It's ego-dystonic. That's why it's picking out all the messes. That's why it's seeing all the contaminations. It's just trying to help. It's actually an incredibly skilled brain. It's doing too good of a job. Now, you may say, I don't have contamination OCD. I don't care about cleaning things. Are you sure you're not trying to get perfectly clean thoughts? Get rid of those intrusive thoughts so your mind is perfectly right so you can go and live your life. Or have perfectly clean feelings. Have perfectly clean certainty and scrub away all of those scary thoughts about identity, all those wrong thoughts about the person you love or the things you've done in the past. You sure you're not trying to clean away memories about things that did happen or that could have happened? Are you sure you don't have contamination OCD? Or is it just that the things you're trying to clean away, you don't clean away with soap, but you've been looking for a magical soap and all sorts of supplements and every kind of therapy, reading articles over and over again? But yeah, maybe the thing you're trying to clean is a thought or a feeling or a physical sensation or a memory. Yeah, it's still the same thing. If your goal is to clean it away, the brain is going to keep helping you by identifying it, by checking for it, and by considering all of the possible ways that that problem could pop up again. Look, I get it. When I was really struggling with my mental health, I would not walk by parks where kids would be playing. If I heard kids, I would go the other way. There was a school near me. I really went out of my way to avoid it because I would see the kids getting hurt. It was really painful or really difficult. I would see myself getting hurt all the time. When I wasn't holding knives, I would see myself either hurting myself or hurting other people. It's absolutely reassuring to say, you're not gonna hurt people. Those thoughts aren't about you. They're the opposite of what you care about. And yeah, they were the opposite of what I cared about. Absolutely. But also it was because I was chasing an idea of myself, an idea of what needed to happen in my brain, that my brain was then throwing up all of this stuff. I believed I could never make a mistake. I believed I had to never make other people upset in any way whatsoever. I believed I could not be judged, that if other people judged me, I was going to be alone and my life was going to be over. So my brain was trying to help me prevent that. And at first, I liked that, right? There were all sorts of things I did that I saw as good, where I was controlling what other people were thinking. I was preventing mistakes that would get people judging me. I was preventing mistakes that would make myself judge myself. It all seemed good. It all seemed like what I wanted. But it led to my brain just constantly bringing up all of these horrible intrusive thoughts because it was just trying to prevent anything that could go wrong. It was trying to prevent bad things because I did not allow any bad thing to happen, from the smallest possible level, the smallest possible mistake. That led to these things that were obviously disordered, but it began with all those compulsions I liked. So yeah, what do we do with this? Where do we go from here? Yeah, look, I'm sharing this because this is something I found useful. I found it useful to see that my brain was actually just trying to help me. It was just an organ. It was then useful to recognize that I could change some of those goals I was pursuing. I could change beliefs and rules I had established about how I needed to act and how the world worked and how my internal world should work. So yeah, we can make changes. You may discover a mix of tools that work well for you. Yeah, maybe actually it really helps you to label some stuff going on in the brain. Also, you're on a journey of changing how you interact with that stuff. Yeah, like you don't have to, take the path that I took, but know that there are these different paths. If you're engaging in a lot of mental health communities and OCD communities, you might see the ego-dystonic, ego-syntonic thing coming up a lot. Yeah, just know there are other ways of interacting with that. Our old way of approaching mental illness, approaching it as a thing we just manage and we're stuck with, maybe that's not always so helpful if we want to go in a new direction. Just know there are different possibilities. Find what works really well for you. Find what works well for building that better relationship with the squishy urge blob up in your skull.